Welcome to the Bell Sports Complex, home of tonight's Division I Finals Championship game between the first place AllStars and the second place Braves. I'm Brent Bodkin. I'm joined on the broadcast by my broadcast partner, FPF Hall of Famer Simon Dagenais. Simon, welcome to the game.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, so obviously, like I said, the top two teams in Division I, arguably the top two teams in all of FPF. What type of game should we be expecting here this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, this has been the two biggest franchises in FPF. Maybe not history, but in the recent years. Both great offenses, good defenses are going to make at least one stop in the game that should potentially buy them the victory. Braves usually play with a smaller roster than AllStars usually do. We see it here. AllStars have about 10 guys, Braves have 6, right? So it's pretty much what we expect, but we should see about at least 80 points in this game total. Okay,
obviously this game littered with All-Stars and Hall of Famers. One Hall of Famer who's not in the lineup tonight is Serge Pilon for the Braves, and obviously Guillaume Ballon, defender for the Braves as well. What do the Braves need to do to compensate for their absence?
They have enough guys to compensate. It's just a matter of staying in the moment, right? When you have players, when you're able to get on the bench, when you make a bad play, you're able to sub out, sort of regroup, refocus, and come back into the game. In this case, since they're only playing with 6, they can't really afford to make those key mistakes. So I think they're going to have to lean a lot on their offense and hope that their offense carries them late and then make a play late in the game rather than try to make a play defensively early.
All right, obviously this matchup also sees the GOAT at quarterback in Kevin Wyeth against what many people think is the current best quarterback in FPF, and Jonathan Maheu. Being a quarterback yourself, what do you expect out of both guys tonight?
Listen, I've seen Kevin play for a long time now. I've seen Joe play for a long time too. Joe's more known as a two-way player. He's a great quarterback, great defensive player. Kevin usually only plays offense. In this case, I'm pretty sure Kevin's only going to play offense. They're both too good at this game that it makes yardage irrelevant. They make a lot of the game irrelevant. Just a matter of can we score and can we get converts on every drive.
So the Braves in black starting with the ball. Mike Pierce is the snapper, of course. Joe Maheu, the quarterback, number 7 for the Braves. He gets the snap. He looks to his left, and he goes there. Quick pass to J.D. Chevalier. Tackled by Quade Johnson. A pickup of about, want to call that?
About 10 yards.
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah,
good enough for a first down. Pickup of 10 and a half. So first down for the Braves.
J.D. Chevalier has been probably one of the best two-way player in FPF in the last couple of years. Somehow still underrated, but he's way too good on this Braves team.
So 1st and 10 again now for the Braves after the first down by Chevalier. Maheu looks to his left. He throws there. He has Alex Pilon. He's tackled by Keyshawn Thompson for a minimal gain there on first down.
This is something we're going to see a lot today. Alex Pilon, underneath routes. He's too fast in this league. He's been too quick for 15 years maybe, right? So there's something about Alex Pilon, the way he runs his route. If you use him underneath, you have to account for him with 2 guys, not just one. And that's something the Braves exploit a lot in the last couple of years.
So minimum pickup is about 2nd and 9 now. He gets snapped, looks to his right, goes to the middle to Mike Pierce, the center. Want to move it another. He gets open. Can he make it in for a touchdown? No, he's deflied by Matt Bond about the 1-yard line. Nice catch and run there by Mike Pierce, the center, number 31 for the Braves.
You see here where these small plays, these dink and dunk plays where you just hit a drag or a hook or a slant, you could take it off field. As soon as one guy misses, you're turning a 3-yard completion to a 15-yard completion. All these guys are quick. All these guys are able to make plays like this. There's a great save by Matt Bond right at the goal line to force another play, actually, not a touchdown.
So trips left now for the Braves offense is Alex Pilon, number 21, has moved from the right to the left. 1st and goal here for the Braves. Chevalier drops back to catch a pass. He can throw now. Will he throw? Oh, he does, and he's batted down. Well, penalty on the play here on Matt Kerouac.
It looks like the ball was tipped out of his hand instead of it wasn't actually thrown. The rusher actually hit the ball from the QB's hand. The ball was basically pushed out of his hand, which is illegal in this league, which causes illegal contact from the rusher.
Exactly. It's going to be illegal contact indeed. Again, obviously in tackle football, you're allowed to strip sack the quarterback. Obviously here in flag plus football, there are no fumbles.
But you can't tackle here, so you can't hit people anyways,
exactly
right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But this is one of those tricky plays where you feel like the ball was almost coming out. So if you put your hand in front of the ball and you tip it, you're allowed to pass deflect the ball, right?
Exactly.
But you're not allowed to hit it out of his hand. So it's always one of those plays where it's kind of judgmental from the referee's position. It's difficult to do on the spot, but I feel like our head referee Conrad did a great job there.
So do you feel in those plays, obviously that penalty going against the All-Stars, in a play like that where it's so close to call, do you think tie goes to the runner? In this case, obviously the quarterback will draw the penalty?
I think on these like 50-50 plays too close to call, you give the edge to the QB. That's kind of the same way with sacks too, right? When you get the sack and the ball's released at the same time, you usually give the favor to the quarterback. You allow him to throw that ball. You kind of let the play itself out instead of trying to shut it down. I feel like that's one of the things in FPF where the referees try not to interfere, the least possible to interfere, right? You try to let people play. So I feel like this is one of the games where you don't want to call it, but it was pretty obvious to me that the ball was hit out of the QB's hand as he was pump faking.
So the penalty again going against the All-Stars, their Hall of Fame rusher, Matt Kerouac.
So a challenge was called on this play by AllStars, saying that the ball was not hit out of J.D. Chevalier's hand. It was actually tipped after it was thrown.
Yeah, one of our officials, Walter Berry, he's up and looking at the replay right now. We just showed it to you on the screen. Matt Kerouac definitely thought that he got a clean tip of that pass.
I mean, he would be the one to know, right? Him and J.D. Chevalier would be the two guys to know exactly what happened because he was there.
Yeah, Chevalier is obviously not going to say, no, he didn't hit my hand and cause me to have an incomplete pass, so we'll have to see.
But you can see on this replay right here that it kind of feels like it was thrown. I don't think the ball left his hand, but it was in a forward motion where the ball was to be thrown, and it was just tipped out of his hand. So the arm goes forward, but the ball never really goes forward because of the tip. That's a tough call.
It's kind of similar to the tuck rule, really.
Yes, a little bit, yeah. It's the FPF version of tuck rule. Let's see what the ruling is.
A Mo Khan, Raiders fan, should be in the building pretty soon. Big Raiders fan, obviously hating me right now for making that comment, that reference to that tuck rule.
That's what you get for being a Raiders fan. All right.
Okay, so the ruling on the field, the penalty stands. So unnecessary contact against Matt Kerouac. Setting up first and goal from the 1-yard line now for the Braves. Pass to the left corner, touchdown! George Gary P. Is he out of bounds? Oh, they're waving it off, saying he stepped out of line and he had a foot out of bounds, so no touchdown for the Braves.
Yeah, he looked like he was just lined out of bounds. He was in the back of the end zone. His foot was there, and he just didn't place himself properly. It's just a mental mistake.
Now, you see the defense right there, obviously, for the All-Stars. How do you lose track of a guy as big as Gary P?
I think it's on a convert like this, you're always playing the front of the end zone, right? So you want to force those balls overhead, and that's one of the reasons why George Gary P's been so good on converts is because of his size.
Yeah. So 6-0 lead again, the touchdown by Pierre Saint. Credit to myself, I said first and goal. I meant the convert was from the 1-yard line. Here's a chance. Wyeth going deep on the first play to Millard. Can he make the catch? No!
Ooh, that's a great no call by referee Brent.
There was a bit of contact there. Number 7, Joe Mahieu was playing coverage on Chris Millard. Number 23 for the All-Stars. A little bit of contact, but like you said, Simon, no call on the play.
This is something you see a lot in higher divisions where the receiver's playing the ball. When he realizes it's overthrown, he's not in the right position to make a play. He tried to bait the foul. So he turned around. He left his right hand kind of like trailing behind him to show like he's being dragged, he's being pushed, but Brent was right in position to make the call. This is a great call by a referee. One of our experienced referee.
Second down now. Pass to the flats to Kerouac. He's tackled by Pierre Saint. Minimal gain there. A gain of about 2, maybe 3 for the Braves, setting up 3rd and long now. Rather for the All-Stars, pardon me.
Matt Kerouac's been in this league for way too long, right? Most of these guys on the field for All-Stars have been in this league for way too long. They find ways to find the holes in the defenses to get short gains, and that's exactly what Kevin Wyatt needs out of his snappers for the past, 15 years, 14 years?
Yeah, Kerouac, his rookie season was all the way back in 2009. Pass to the right-hand side. Pat Jerome, nice reception there by the big man jumping in front of Alex Pilon to get the catch and extend the chain, move the chains, if you will, getting the first down.
It was a great play design to have a deep out from the slot, and then Jacques Voigt was just running a go from the outside, which forced the safety to take a decision. And you had 2 guys sitting. Pat cut right in front of the corner that was sitting there. This is the kind of plays you only see in Div 1. This is a lot of trust from Kevin Wyatt to throw that ball to Pat Jerome, and the timing is flawless.
The first down now, just a bit past midfield for the All-Stars. Kerouac at center, Paul Lapierre and Pat Jerome the slot receivers, Jacques Voigt and Chris Millard, the wideouts. Pass to the flats to the big man Paul Lapierre. He's taken down about maybe a 6-yard gain there.
Paul is not the flashiest, fastest receiver in FBF, right? Let's be honest.
Maybe the meltiest,
but he's got insane hands, and he doesn't drop anything, and his body size makes him impossible to cover in the red zone. It's almost a cheat code. Every time he goes on a slant or out and up on the end zone, what are you supposed to do? He's bigger than everybody else.
And there lies the question, obviously. We see the two biggest defenders on the field, and J.D. Chevalier, number 11, and number 6, Georges Garapi. They're going to have to cover the biggest guys, tallest receivers, I should say, for the All-Stars. Second down now. Slant pass, touchdown! Chris Millard walks into the end zone, and we're tied up at 6.
I mean, so the Braves were running a lanes defense, and then they sent two guys at the same spot. Paul went straight at Georges Garapi and pushed him back in the end zone. If Georges doesn't stay in front of the goal line, Paul is open. So because Georges had to step back, Chris came on a slant underneath, and Joe Maher didn't have the time to cover that, right? There's no way he jumps that route, and it's just a great play design.
And you see, for a receiver that size, it's not even the route running, it's just his fact that he's so big that he gets in the way of the defender. There's a conversion attempt. Now Wyatt has a chance. He evades the rush by Payman. Pass on the middle. It's knocked down by Pearson.
So in a game where we could argue that Division 1 is all about converts, not about touchdowns, because they'll score on basically every drive, both teams went 0 for 1 on converts so far. It's 6-6 instead of what usually is like a 7-7 game. Or Braves have been famous in the last couple of years for going for 2 a lot of the times and forcing teams to sort of like play catch up to them when you're down 16-7, for instance.
Well, the miss for that convert right there in the postseason so far, the All-Stars are now 3 for 7 going for the convert. The Braves, on the other hand, after their miss on their opening drive, are 0 for 7.
Ooh, that's
interesting. For the extra point. So, new series here for the Braves. Mahieu gets the ball. He looks to his left. Goes over the middle. Caught by Chevalier. Tackled by Thompson just before midfield.
JD, like I said earlier, like he's so shifty and fast that he's going to find the sweet spot. He's going to catch the ball. And it's just tough to tackle him in open space. He got an extra 7 or 8 yards after the catch. And they're making it look so easy that you're watching this game and say, I could do that too. You try to do it, doesn't work.
So fresh out of downs here for the Braves offense. Let's see what Mahieu calls. Payman Pilon to the right. Mahieu to his left, throws across his body to the middle of the field. He has Pearson, flagged by Matt Bond.
He had Alex Pilon forgotten on the right side, right? This is one of the things we'll see a lot today. Julien Paiement is an amazing rusher for Braves, but he doesn't usually play offense. Doesn't play a lot of offense. This is this position that Georges Pilon Jr. plays instead. Georges isn't here today. Serge isn't here today, so that forces Julien Paiement to play offense. He's not a bad receiver by any means. He's just not used to playing in this offense. Jonathan Maher is not used to throwing to him as much. Chemistry isn't exactly there. So I'm curious to see when he's going to actually start throwing the ball at the number 4.
And this is Paymon's first game of the evening. He's also taking part in the Division II championship game later tonight. Here's a chance to the corner. That's thrown out of bounds. Payman, of course, a member of KGP as they take on the Terror Squad. Simone and I will have that game for you. I believe it's supposed to kick off around 9 o'clock. Obviously, we'll have to wait till all the post-game festivities are over. So look out about 9, maybe 9:15. We should be on air for that one.
This was a great decision by Jonathan Maher to just throw it out of bounds. Matt Bond was trailing in the right position. If you put that ball on JD, that's most likely a pick. You're better off just throwing it out of bounds, play for another down. It is third down. It's not like it was just a second down. You don't have to force it.
Yes, this is a third down now. Again, just past midfield. Mahieu looks to the left. He has a man open down the middle again. Chevalier found an opening in the All-Stars zone defense.
So All-Stars are taking sort of a little risks here. They're playing very aggressive. The DBs are kind of sitting in between two guys and they're trying to jump somebody at the last second. It all comes back to what we said earlier, is this is the kind of offense you're not going to stop if you play conservative. That's not how it works. So you're just hoping to make one stop on a mistake the quarterback makes, or you try to jump something a little bit earlier and you're able to make a play. So we're going to see a lot of these aggressive plays, but they also result in big gains from receivers.
Second to go now. Mahieu looks to his right. Has a man over the middle. Pearson, touchdown Braves. 12-6 lead now.
Pearson's second touchdown of the day, a little bit different from what the first one looked. The first one was more like missed tackles. In this case, it was just an audible go left or right, depending on the rusher. It's the chemistry between Mike Pearson and Jonathan Maher that they've been playing together for years now that you could tell. You don't even have to give him a route. He kind of just knows what to do. And it pays off in a situation like this in the red zone where it's difficult to set something up when you don't know what they're going to do.
So going for 2 now, the Braves. Trips left. Chevalier drops back again. He gets the pass from Mahir. Chevalier over the middle to Pearson. It's knocked down and almost picked off by Jerome. 0 for 2 now are the Braves on 2-point conversions. Good play there by Matt Bond.
It was a great play. It was a good play design offensively, but AllStars kind of know when they go for 2 that they have JD Chevalier drop back. It buys them time. It opens up a lot of things for them, but it also only leaves you with four receivers over there. It's supposed to open up space because you only have 4 guys instead of 5 against realistically only 4 DBs. But in this situation, Matt Bond read it perfectly, shot right in front of Mike Pearson and got the most of that ball.
Now, if you're Joe Mahir, are you, as a quarterback, obviously, are you knowing again that the All-Stars know what's going to happen, what's coming with that 2-point conversion attempt? Are you just electing to stick with your 5 receivers on the field instead of having the option to have the quarterback option pass?
These guys have been playing against each other for 5-6 years now, right? Like that's the thing with Division 1. You play the same team twice a year, every season, and to the playoffs. So they play each other at least 8 or 9 times a year. They know the systems. They know who they're playing against. They know the talent. We saw it here again. You have a few pieces changing. Quade Johnson just made a catch. It's not necessarily on all All-Stars all the time. You have a few little pieces like this, but most the system stays the same.
Anyway, Johnson with a pick up a 7 on that first down. So 2nd and 3 now. Going for Johnson deep. He's open. Touchdown! Quade Johnson ties this game up at 12 apiece off the beautiful pass by Kevin Wyeth.
Phenomenal pass by Kevin to just put it high enough for his receiver to adjust. Quade was kind of shifting Georges' hips left and right, trying to figure out where to go. Am I going in or out? And Quade just made a great adjustment to the ball. He saw it midair. He found the ball in the air, and he went up, and Georges was not in position to make a play on the ball. It was a great position by both the receiver and the quarterback. The ball was well thrown, but the adjustment by Quade was phenomenal.
So quick drive right there, quick response by the All-Stars. Now they're going for 2. One. Pardon me. Wyeth looks to his left, pass to the corner of the end zone, just out of the reach of Paul Lapierre. And I tell you what, Simon, there's not too many times you can say a ball was too high for Paul.
I know, but you saw it on display right here. This is why Paul is so dangerous in the red zone, is because of his size. If you put him in the back of the end zone with somebody in front, you kind of have to play the guy in front, right? You can't just give that free play. But the fact that he's so tall, you could put it high enough for people not to be able to reach from the front of the end zone. But Paul's sizes makes it almost impossible for you to compete on that ball anyways.
So a quick reply by the All-Stars, tying this game up at 12-12. Let's see if the Braves can respond now. Pass over the middle to Pearson. Kerouac got a piece of it. Good catch there by Pearson. Deflagged by Keyshawn Thompson. Looks like Pearson's flag were coming off for a second.
Another great, this is the kind of plays we see a lot in Div 1. The rusher kind of tries to make one little play here and there. He's not necessarily looking for the sack per se because he's not kind of closing fast enough, but they're always trying to play like a lane. So the defense plays behind the rusher. Rusher says, I'm going to go this way. Nobody plays really defense behind him because he knows he takes away that lane, and then it leaves more room for coverage.
So 2nd down now. 2nd and about 4 for the Braves offense. Pass to the right sideline. Oh, off the hands of Paymon. Had an interception there for a second, but Millard couldn't control it before getting his feet down.
So I talked about it a little bit earlier where Joe doesn't really go to J. Paymon often. Right, this was a perfect play to test it on the hook on the sideline on something that looked like a 2nd and 2-3 yards. But that was just a drop by Jean Piment, right? That was in his chest. He should have caught that. The fact that he bubbled it might have caused a turnover. It's not a great feeling for a quarterback when you throw the running receivers and something like that happens.
But obviously, again, with only 6 guys in the lineup tonight, Mayhew may have to go back to Paymon. Pilo is open deep, and it's a sack there by Kerouac.
It's a great play by a veteran rusher. Matt Kerouac's been rushing the state since, like you said, 2009, right? It's been 13 years. Mind you, COVID takes away like maybe a year of being a veteran, but it doesn't
more
matter.
than a decade.
He's been doing it for so long that's exactly what he's looking for. He's not looking to sack him, but he's closing in, and at some point he's just going to lead in and try to get it, force Jonathan Maheu to throw the ball at some point. And often what happens is the defense is playing right behind that rusher, and it's something you see in these higher divisions is the defense is pressing because they know Kerouac will not allow him to escape. There's no extra 2 seconds, so I have to jump this route right here. And then if he doesn't throw it, it's a sack.
Oh, and they cause Kerouac to go outside there. He goes back smartly, resets. Right here to the left-hand side of Garrett P. He's deflagged by Johnson.
Alex Pilon was running
first down.
Alex Pilon was running a deep post route. He was calling for the ball, but Pat Jerome was in position for that. It was a risky throw. The safer one was to Georges Garripi on the sideline for the first down. They got the first down. That's really all that matters, offensively, really. So it's a smart play by Jonathan Maher to just take the safe one on the sidelines, move the sticks, or in this case, move the cones, and play for another down.
So after a big sack by Matt Kerouac, Mahill was able to respond. Big first down to Garrett P. The drive continues for the Braves. Here comes Mahill. He avoids the sack. No, he doesn't. Another sack, the second of the game by Matt Kerouac. And Simon, Matt is showing why he is the greatest snapper of all time in FPF.
It's a phenomenal sack, too. Like, Jonathan Maher actually made the hip check at the right time, but Matt Kerouac just dove for that flag and got it. It builds a lot of confidence in the rusher. The defense of AllStars is playing better because of it. And it forces Jonathan Maher in bad positions. The only issue with this play is it was first down, not like second or third.
So second and long now for the Braves offense. And here goes to his left. Garrett P. Nice jumping catch. Survives the contact from Matt Bond. And I would say I think Bond actually survived the contact from Garrett P. to make the tackle.
Well, one of them is bigger than the other, right? Like, Georges Garripi probably has like 40, 50 pounds on Matt Bond. But that's not a great play from Georges Garripi to actually not wait for the ball, but go get it, right? If he waits for that ball, Matt Bond is probably getting that pick. Because Georges stepped in and jumped in front of him, yes, it caused some sort of contact, obviously, but that's the one we call bang-bang plays in FBF, where two guards are going for the same ball. It is what it is. Like, nobody was actually going after the other player.
So first and goal now for the Braves. Mahieu looks to his left. He throws Pearson, gets his feet down. He catches the ball, but he's short of the goal line. No, they're calling it a touchdown.
Mike Pearson's third touchdown of the day. This is getting interesting for the conversation for like Finals MVP. If you have 3 touchdowns as a snapper, what more do you need? That's a hat trick right there.
You can make the argument right now that Mike Pearson has been the MVP of the playoffs for the Braves. If we go back to their win over Flagmont and Sac this week, he had 3 touchdowns.
It's a lot of
Another
touchdowns.
3 touchdowns here today. Mahieu again going for 2 are the Braves once more. Chevalier to the back of the end zone. That goes to nobody. Hits against the wall. So it is an 18-12 lead now for the Braves. Just inside of 4 minutes remaining until 5 plays.
Saw miscommunication between Georges Garripi and JD Chevalier there. They're discussing it after the play. Georges was running out in the back of the end zone, and JD kind of wanted to sit there. The DB was trailing, so like both plays would have been good. It's just a matter of miscommunication. But as the ball hit the back of the end zone.
So first down now for Kevin Wyeth after the long drive by the Braves offense. Wyeth looks to his right. He has Pat Jerome tiptoeing the sideline, finally taken out of bounds just past midfield.
It's crazy to me how all these plays are always like 10, 15 yards every time. Right? Like aside from deep shots, there's not a lot of like 2-yard plays. Everything is always 15 yards, 12 yards, 14 yards. They're getting first downs on basically every play unless there's a penalty prior to it. It's still weird to me how this game doesn't have a single conversion. 0 out of 5.
Yeah, as I said earlier, between both teams, there's only been one successful conference so far this postseason. There's a catch by Paul Lapierre in the flats, picking up about 5, maybe 6 yards on first down.
Kevin Wyeth doesn't seem like he's been here so often, right? It doesn't matter if you're trailing by 6 or not. Technically, they're still put in the same position. Like it's their third possession. Braves scored in all 3 possessions. It's probably going to come down to who wins the first half based on the convert. I don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers in this first half, anyways.
That's a good call. About to see if that keeps on being true the rest of this contest. Snap caught by Wyeth over to the flats to Jerome again. He's deflagged by Alex Pilon. So first down now after that catch by Jerome.
There's approximately 2 minutes left in the first half. The tempo, the pacing of this drive is gonna change whether or not Braves are gonna have an extra possession before the half. If AllStars scores a little bit too quickly here, Braves might be able to get 6 or 7 plays before the half, might give them an extra possession, and then AllStars starts with the ball. But if they're able to limit Braves, they could go up a possession before half, right after half.
So Wyeth gets a snap down. He looks right over the middle. He has Lapierre. Garripi with the coverage, and that's just over the head of Lapierre. Tight coverage there by number 6, Georges Garripi.
Paul was asking for a hold penalty on the DB. I think it doesn't matter. The ball was overthrown. Even if he has both hands, he's not catching that.
Yeah, never tight coverage. Obviously, getting a little physical, but you have to expect that, right? It's Division One.
What are you going to do against Paul if you're not physical? He's just going to beat you. But this is not necessarily a bad play on first down, throw it out of bounds. By time, you don't want to give them 8 or 9 plays because they're going to score, right? You have to limit them in some way.
Second down and goal now. Wyeth gets the ball. He looks to his left now, right over the middle. Oh, he's picked up by Mahir. Good tackle there by Paul Lapierre, saving a touchdown. Wyeth was trying to go to Matt Kerouac right inside the goal line. Good job by Jonathan Mahir jumping the route and getting the INT for the Braves.
Well, I was wrong. So I'll say it. I'll admit it. I just said there won't be any turnovers. I was wrong. First turnover of the game by Jonathan Mahir, a huge one right before the half with about a minute left. So Braves should be able to get about 6 or 7 plays if they use a timeout here. Now it's on Braves to not score too quickly, to not give AllStars an extra possession before the half. If Braves are able to score here and give less than 3 plays to AllStars, they might be able to sneak away with a 2-score lead right before half.
Yeah, it's very true. We'll have to see how that plays out, obviously. For Mahir, who had 1 interception during the regular season, that was his first INT of the postseason, and for the Braves, it could not have come at a better time. Let's see if they can capitalize.
There was a lot of traffic on that play too, right? Like we have Matt Kerouac coming in across on from the snapper position going to the outside, but we also had Chris Millard coming in from the slant. So we had 2 guys basically in the same spot. So we had 2 DBs playing the same route, and then you saw just Joe capitalize on that.
So if you're a quarterback, then what are you calling in that position? Obviously, being so tight around the goal line.
I think it's a matter of timing. I think the play call was fine, but it's just a matter of the way when people run their routes.
Pass. Pilon does a good job keeping that ball off the turf. Gets by 1 man, but tackled by Chris Millard. Should be a gain of about 9, maybe 10.
How do you make that catch? You played receiver in a long time.
You know what I tell you?
No, how hard that catch is to make?
As someone who's about as tall as Pilon, maybe I give myself maybe an inch. I'm 5'7.5", which I run up to 5'8". Our low center of gravity makes it easier to catch those low balls.
Yeah, but that was like right off the turf, right? As he was moving too, he wasn't standing. He was moving towards the sideline. He actually caught it and kept running to beat Pat Jerome to the corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alex Pilon is a 2-way player of the year for a reason, and he's a Hall of Famer for a reason, showing it right there.
That's exactly it. It's one of those catches you just watch and you don't really understand. Like I could try that 100 times, I'll drop it 99 times probably. To me it's a little bit crazy, but that's what makes him so good, and that's what makes him so valuable to this team.
So now there's
a timeout call.
Yeah, timeout
right before
has
halftime.
called. Yep.
Right before 5 plays, actually.
Yep, exactly.
So this should limit it to 6 plays instead of just 5. I'm pretty sure AllStars are trying to buy themselves an extra possession right before half.
That's a smart call there by the AllStars calling that timeout. So fresh set of downs for the Braves. 5 plays left here from the Bell Sports Complex. Pass to the left-hand side caught by Gary Pierre. Just a pickup of about 6, maybe 7 yards on the play.
Very manageable second down.
Yeah, 2nd and 4 now. A plethora of options right now for the Braves offense. Right, he'll get a snap. Looks over the middle, now to the left. Nice catch by Gary Pay. Did he get his feet down?
Yeah, they're calling a catch. They're calling it a catch. That was, I guess they tipped the last one, but that was a great catch by Josh AP. He was expecting the ball to be thrown a little bit further than that, so he kind of had to come back to the ball. You could see it right on the screen. And to be able to make that catch, first of all, and then drag your feet, it's phenomenal. Referees just announced 5 plays.
Now the 5 plays have been called.
So Braves are in the weird position where you don't want to score too quickly, but you actually need to score. You can't afford not to score here.
Chips left by the Braves. We'll have to see if they take your advice and try to keep the ball out of the end zone, but get some positivity. Mahio for run. He's taking it. I believe that's Thompson that made the tackle. Kerouac is down, taking a little bit of time to get up. Maybe he's just a little tired or frustrated that he missed the sack.
I think he's a bit frustrated that he should have had that sack, should have made that stop. This is a great play by Jonathan Mahir. The play he wanted wasn't open. He's fast. He's a good runner. He took off and ran. This, first of all, but kills the play. Gets them to 8 or 9 yards. So now they have a second and very manageable. And they could take a shot at the end zone if they wanted to, because there's only 4 plays left. This is the kind of position as a quarterback and as a team you want to be in right before halftime.
So it's about 2nd and a long one right now for the Braves. Mahir gets a snap. He looks to his right. He throws in. Touchdown!
J.D. Chevalier, I mentioned earlier, pretty fast. They usually have to push the receivers to the back of the end zone. So both guys on the right side push their guys to the back. We had a drag around underneath. He caught the ball for a first down, and then he just beat the corner to the pylon for the touchdown.
So great combination there of route running and play calling by the Braves offense. Now the Braves extending their lead now 24-12. Obviously,
We see our first convert of the day.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's not count those chickens before they're hatched. Chips left again by the Braves. Mahil gets a snap. Chevalier back. Pass, catch on the sideline by Garapi. And the 2-point conversion is good.
Phenomenal throw and catch. That's a very hard throw to make. And that's a very tough catch to make.
Exactly. I was going to follow
right?
up.
That's both. That's very – and they made it look so effortlessly. They didn't even use – but that's the one thing I've seen from Braves a lot is they always drop Jay Chevalier no matter what, but they don't necessarily throw it back to him. Sometimes they'll use that space, and the fact the defense expects him to get the ball to throw it quickly, and the defense is going to cut off guard.
So with the 2-point conversion, it's now a 26-12 lead for the Braves. Less than 5 plays remaining here in the first half.
AllStars do start with the ball in the second half, but they're down 14 with 3 plays left.
So Wyeth gets a snap. Looks over the middle. He has Kerouac. Kerouac backs up his way to a gain of about 10 yards.
So how many times has Kevin Wyatt scored before half with 3 plays? Like 50 times?
Gain of about 12 on the play, pardon me. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Kevin Wyeth is, he's the GOAT of quarterbacks here in FPF, and he's showing why, as he picked up a lot of yardage right there on first down.
But when you have 3 plays, that's what you want. You want to take 15 yards, get to midfield, and now you have 2 options. You take a shot at the end zone twice, or you chuck it in half again, and you take a more manageable position shot.
So right now with the way the game is going, okay, I'll finish my thought after this play. Wyeth gets a snap. He goes to the end zone. He has Johnson again. Touchdown, Quade Johnson.
Another phenomenal catch, positioning by Quade Johnson, and throw by Kevin White. He put it exactly where only his guy can make a ball, the play on the ball. Jonathan Murray was out of position. He couldn't play on that ball. The corner in front was too small height-wise to make a play, and Quade was just running the perfect route. The ball was thrown in the back of the end zone for him alone to catch, and he adjusted so well that ball just stuck to his hand. Thank God you have gloves. Just stuck there, and now they scored with 3 plays before half. What are you supposed to do here?
So not only did they get the touchdown, that's a little salt to the wound there. Jonathan Mahir colliding with the steel barricades on the sideline. Looks like he's going to be okay. The Braves cannot afford to lose him. Pass to the end zone, all off the hands of Lapierre. The AllStars were going for 2, so the conversion is no good. They trail now 26-18.
So offensively, you give the other team 3 plays. What are you supposed to do at this point if they score with 2 plays left? They're not supposed to score here. But it's Kevin White. It's AllStars. It's going to happen. Braves are still up 8 points. Not 2 possessions, but 8 points is a lot. It's a huge margin. They get 1 play here, and then AllStars starts with the ball, but they're still trailing, again, by 8. So even if they score, it's not a given that they're going to be back in this game.
And that's exactly it. And I think, speaking to your point, Simon, obviously, so a cover, deep coverage cover, I guess you could say 5 right now being played by the AllStars. Mahil chucks it up. Makes his way to the end zone, tipped and picked off by Pat Jerome. Jerome, he is tackling a flag on the play. Alex Pilon tried to deflag Jerome. He pulled the shirt instead. Pilon, in anger, slams the flag down to the ground.
So not only do you have a holding penalty on the last play of the game, last play of the half, which results in AllStars getting a shot at it now because you cannot stop on a defensive penalty, but also there's things that happen after the play that might result in additional yardage for AllStars. So this is going from bad to worse now.
So the Braves, Pilon in particular, losing his composure. I mean, you can't blame him for being upset, but you can't. You got to make sure you get the tackle properly. Let's be honest. Is Pat Jerome going to run it all the way back from one side of the field to the end zone to the other?
It's not impossible.
He could not. He definitely could. But that would be definitely a feat to see.
You're going for a flag. You pull on something. They have white shirts. The flags are white. I get the frustration from Alex saying I pulled on it. I got the shirt first, but I did get the flag. I didn't pull twice. I didn't use 2 hands. The rule in FPF for holding is usually when you pull with one and then you use your second one to get the flag. That means your first one was really just to slow him down.
And I think I'll tell you what, Simon, and I think that's where Pilon is getting mad at. He didn't use the second hand to reach up to grab the flag after pulling the shirt. He's making the complaint that the shirt
is over
with the flag. Exactly, it's over the flag.
Yeah,
which is not allowed, obviously, in FPF. You're supposed to tuck in your shirt.
It's a fair complaint.
So that won't happen.
You see Pat Jerome now in the huddle turning around saying, "No, my flag is over my shirt. Didn't do anything illegal."
So he quickly put that flag right back over his shirt.
So it's one of those calls that they're really tough to make, right? Like We could argue that was a holding because we saw the shirt being pulled, but then he only used one hand. So how are you supposed to hold and then re-grab? It's a lot of things, and this is a huge penalty because this will give AllStars a shot, an extra play basically with the ball before half, which they wouldn't have otherwise. The pick doesn't matter, but the fact that there's a penalty, it gives them the possession. So we'll see what the decision here. The referees are still discussing it. They're still looking at it. They're unsure what the call. What they're trying to make the best call possible, which is what we love to see. We hate to see a ref be a little bit stubborn and say, "No, I know what I'm doing." Talk to everybody. Get it right the first time because this is such a huge game-changing play.
Okay, so regardless, it's the All-Stars ball right now. So yeah, the holding call is made against Pilon. So the All-Stars are getting the ball with one play remaining. Around midfield.
Like we mentioned before, you cannot end
you can end the half penalty or
on a
the
defensive
game
penalty.
Yeah, exactly. You can't end the half or the game on a defensive penalty, just like obviously in tackle football. So All-Stars taking over at exactly midfield right now.
That's basically where they scored from last time, right? Like 2 plays ago.
So Wyatt gets a snap. He looks to his left, throws back across to his right. Caught by Jerome! Touchdown, Pat Jerome!
Something we've seen in the finals way too often is Pat Jerome catching what is commonly known as mossing a player in the end zone. Caught a Hail Mary, basically. We've seen him do it with Terra Squad a lot in the last 5 or 6 years. That's a game-changing play.
Pat Jerome catching a Hail Mary pass. Over, let's see who was there. I believe there was Jonathan Maheu was there, yep.
So you go from being up 2 scores with 3 plays left to allowing them to score, be down only 8 points. You get 1 play, you make a penalty on something that was a judgment call.
So hold on, I'm going to have to interrupt you here, Simon. Obviously, the All-Stars right now down 26-24, going for the 2-point conversion. Can they get it? Let's see. Down the middle to Void, knocked away by Pilon. And that will finally do it for the first half of action here in this Division I championship. A 26-24 lead for the Braves over the All-Stars. I'll tell you what, Simon, what a first half of action.
That was a crazy first half. Like we said, you're playing offense, you're Braves. You score with 3 plays left in the game, right? In the first half. You're up 14 points after the successful 2-point convert. You're feeling great. Next play, you get Kevin White that gets 15 yards. You're like, all right, we're still good. They still have to drive after fielding 2 plays. Hits a touchdown. You get 1 play left. Like, we're just going to chuck it deep. Worst case, it's a pick or incomplete. Doesn't matter. You get a penalty call against you. They get 1 play, and then they score again with 1 play. So it's a 12-point swing in 3 plays against the Braves. So now Braves are going to halftime a little bit beat, a little bit down on themselves, thinking, what just happened? All-Stars are feeling super good about themselves, and they start with the ball.
So now if you're the Braves, if you're on that sideline right now, which is directly to our right, what do you do right now? Obviously, you're talking about you gave the All-Stars a 12-point swing in a matter of 3 plays. You only have 6 guys. You can't have someone come off to catch their breath. You can't have someone take a sub. I think they're pretty thankful right now that it's halftime. What do the Braves need to do to shake off that basically collapse towards the end of the first half?
This is when we see what we call mental toughness, right? Braves are still in the lead. They're still up 2 points. They're starting on defense, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. You're still up 2 points. You didn't allow the convert, which was huge. You're still in a good shape, but it plays with your head thinking now you feel like you're down in the momentum entirely on the All-Stars side. You have to come back in the second half. Even if you have them score the first possession, it doesn't matter because you have to go back on offense, score again, get the lead back. Because you have 2 points ahead, the converts are really huge here. And they shouldn't be down on their own luck, but we're going to see how they come back from this. They've been in the finals before. It's not their first time, right? But it's a tough position to be in.
And now for the All-Stars, obviously, right now, the pendulum of momentum has swung in your favor. What do they need to do now to keep it that way?
In my opinion, you have to score quick offensively to keep that momentum and to show them that at this point of the game, we're still in control and you guys can't do anything about it. If you take 10 plays to drive down the field slowly, the defense feels good about themselves afterwards. Yes, they allowed you to score, but they took so much time that you feel you restrained them a lot. If you take 3 plays here, like 2 shots and then you score, the defense is basically irrelevant at that point, and the Braves are going to feel terrible about themselves.
All right, so we're ready to get the ball snapped here for second half action at the Bell Sports Complex in this Division I championship matchup between the Braves and the All-Stars. Wyatt gets a snap. He looks to his right. He has Pat Jerome open. Nice catch by Jerome. Pickup of about, let's call it 8 yards on first down for the All-Stars.
So we saw a turnover in the first half by Jonathan Mara in the red zone. Right, he made a great play on a ball that gave a team a chance. We saw another interception later, but Braves are still in a great position that if they actually get a turnover on this possession and the next, they'll put so much pressure back on All-Stars that the momentum's completely going to swing. It's not. This game is far from over.
Second down and 2 now for the All-Stars. Wyeth looks to his right. He has Jerome again. Tackled. Oh, another shirt grab there.
Oh, there's something with that shirt. There's something with the white shirts and the white flags, man. I don't know. You remember back in the days when we used to have yellow flags? You know, guys wore those yellow shorts.
Exactly. I was gonna say something about that. I wore a red flag. Obviously, I'm a bigger guy. Red flag. I had a couple red pairs of shorts.
There you go. It
has an effect. It's tricky.
And now we can't grab the belts anymore. We have to actually go for the flags. A lot of guys used to go for the belts regardless of what size, what you're wearing, whatever. But now you can't do that anymore.
And I tell you what, as a quarterback, does that make a difference for you now with the new belts?
I feel like it's harder to tackle the quarterback with the belts than it used to be.
That's the second down now. Pass to Millard, his first catch of the game, I believe.
Yeah, he was targeted once on a deep ball earlier, but this is his first catch.
It's a little shake and bait there for Chris Millard, the former All-Star. I think it's enough for a first down, actually.
From an All-Star perspective, those 3 plays, 35 yards, you're in the red zone again. If you're able to score quickly, you keep that momentum going. Braves are not. From their body language, they don't look that confident.
Yeah, from Millard, this is his first catch actually of the postseason. 10 regular season grabs, touchdowns rather, but only his first catch here of the playoffs. First and goal now for the All-Stars. Looks to his left, now to his right. He has a man, Jerome, nice catch. Oh, he bobbled it, didn't call it incomplete. Good call there by the ref on the sideline.
Regardless, he was short of the end zone. So that would have been like a 2-3 yards completion. At this point, whether you're from the 4, the 5, the 1, it's all the same, right? You can't run. You don't have a lot of space. It's all the same.
Jason Leclerc, the sideline official on our left.
This was a good play for Braves, actually. To be able to get a nice little PD here, play with their heads a little bit, slow the game down, because it really feels like All-Stars are just running with the tempo here.
Second down now. Wyeth gets the ball. He looks to his left, goes back to his right. He has Void. Void makes the catch. Touchdown. Jacques Void gives the All-Stars their first lead of the night.
I believe that was Jacques Voigt's first catch of the day, too, offensively.
Yes, it is.
And for a touchdown, a big one, too. You could tell Kevin White doesn't like the new looks Braves are giving him. They switched up a lot of the guys around, right? They switched the matchups a lot. Paul Lapierre is not on offense in this drive. You got Georges Anquet. JD went from the left to the right. They're moving pieces. They're trying something new. Guys, obviously, what they're doing isn't working super well. It's fun to see, but they're still... Kevin read through the whole field. He went through from the first read to the fifth read to find somebody open on the front cone.
The All-Stars now up 30-26, going for the 2-point convo. Can they get it? Johnson, oh, nice. Deflection there at the last second by number 6, Georges Gary P. Keeping this 4-point lead intact for the All-Stars.
Again, these converts are much bigger than people expect. Like, the fact that Braves are able to stop them from getting converts, if they score here, not only do they go up 2 points, but they could go up an extra 3 points, which could turn to an extra possession down the stretch. It's not something to disregard at this point in the game.
So let's see, after giving up the lead finally, let's see what the Braves could do to answer as their offense takes the field for the first time here in the second stanza. Mayhew looks to his left, dump pass. Oh, they're going to call a sack. Third of the game for Matt Kerouac. And so Kerouac gets a sack right there. But Simon, how important was the coverage by the All-Star secondary?
I think that Joe Montgomery was looking for something that simply wasn't there. He was trying to get a deep shot. He was trying to look for Alex Pilon down the stretch, but the safety was far enough that they had that leverage on him. That was a pretty close call, in my opinion. The ball seemed that it was released pretty much at the same time as the sack. But, again, it's a judgment call from the referee. It's difficult to say. But it's a good call. All-Stars are making plays defensively.
So it sets up a loss of about 4, maybe 5 yards on that sack there by Kerouac.
This play seems to be challenged. This is second down. It's going to be second down, but I think the Braves are challenging the call on the ruling on field of a sack.
Yeah.
But it was dropped, right? So instead of a sack, it would be an incomplete pass, which would result in you gaining 3 yards, 4 yards maybe.
Yeah, it's a good point. And
You still lose the down.
Yeah, I was going to say that exactly. Still lose the down no matter what the outcome is on the replay here. And I got to ask you, Simo, obviously in the finals, of course, each team has a challenge. Would you waste a challenge on a play like that so early in the second half?
If it would have turned out into something bigger, right, like a pick, or it would have been a touchdown for like a bomb, and then you release it at the last second, they call a sack, but you caught it for a touchdown, and if you reverse it. In this case, you're turning a 3-yard sack at an incomplete. I don't see how that really helps you out. Obviously, you don't want to sack. You don't want to be backed up. But it's not a big difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It appears to be an insequential play there. I mean, as you talked about, Simo, it's either a sack or a gain of 3 yards. You still have not picked up the first if you're the Braves offense. And again, so if they lose this challenge, they're out of challenges for the rest of the game. So this replay right here is huge.
I do feel like we're trying to use this technology more. We're trying to get the right calls. We're trying to get the right information as much as possible. It is difficult to reuse some of these calls because the camera angles are not flawless, right? Like, so we're trying our best, but a lot of the times it comes out a little bit inconclusive. It's tough to say by 100% whether it was released like just before the sack or not. We don't have like that super close up like the NFL does, for instance, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, every year we get better and better with the technology here in FPF.
Listen, we're
the
worlds away from what we used to be 5 or 6 years ago. We remember what it used to be like 2012 and 13. We were here. This is a world of difference, but we're still trying our best to optimize the operations as much as possible. But we don't have the 18, 19 cameras like the NFL does, right?
So we're still waiting to see what the call is going to be. Monto Berry, the head official of all the FPF referees here, he's talking to the 3 game officials right now on the sideline behind the end zone of the Braves.
Our replay referee is looked at the replay, now they're discussing on the field.
So regardless, again, the first down was not picked up, as we've been mentioning, for the Braves.
But even if so, regardless of the challenge or not, this is a huge stop at time. This has been a long pause, which takes away the momentum away from AllStars and kind of resets it for Braves. This is not necessarily terrible in terms of momentum. Braves were a bit down on themselves, but now they get a full break. They get to talk it over, plan what's going to come, and it helps them a lot to just reset entirely.
I think it helps them a lot. Again, there's 6 guys. It helps them a lot to catch their breath and just get a breather. And as you talked about, Simo, come up with something else. Come up with a new game plan for the next down.
But you can see from their body language, too, they look more, I wouldn't say happy, but more confident, smiles on their faces. They're not down on themselves. So I think we're going to see more of what the Braves were in the first few drives rather than what we saw in the last 2 minutes of the half.
Don't forget, stay tuned to the Flat Plus Football YouTube channel as we have the Division III championship game coming up next between Bless and the Junkyard Dogs. That should be a fantastic game, and we're going to close.
Call was overturned.
Yep,
it is not a sack, it's an incomplete pass.
So an incomplete pass. And again, we close off championship weekend here tonight with the Division II championship game between KGP and the Terror Squad. So I'm here now. He goes back to PRSA again.
Mike Piercin keeps being that safety that, I don't know if safety is the right word, that a blanket for Jonathan Maher. Anytime whatever he wants to throw out is not there, Mike Piercin is always open underneath for a safe throw, 5 or 6 yards every time. But it allows you to move the chains instead of going for an incomplete. Now it's third and very manageable instead of what could have been a 3rd and 10.
So Mike Piercin kind of playing the role of the tight end in this offense.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Piercin had a snap. Oh, and it's picked up by Kerouac. Can he run it back? Yes, he can. Touchdown, Matt Kerouac.
Oh, this is a phenomenal play by Matt Kerouac. Not only does he have 3 sacks in the game, he's making a huge impact defensively, but now he just got himself a pick 6 in a position where, like we discussed, Braves couldn't really afford not to score here. They still had a 2-point lead, but you just threw a pick 6 at the rusher. Now, AllStars are up 10 points with a potential convert here.
As you see on the replay right there, Mahil was trying to go back to Pierce and get right up the middle. I think he was calling that number 1 too many times. Kerouac realizing that's where the ball was going. He got his hands out, jumped that route, and ran it back to the end zone. So now the AllStars are up 36-26.
I don't care how many points goes down in this game. Matt Kerouac is in this finals MVP if AllStars win. Because this is a ridiculous performance. Not only did he get 3 sacks in the first half, but now he just got himself a pick 6.
I mean, I think even if they lose, he should be MVP, but that's just my opinion.
Can you really give the MVP to somebody who
Yeah,
loses?
of course you can. You should. Give him the old Ron Hextall rule. Here's a chance now, 2-point conversion. Yes, Johnson, right through his hands. A rare drop there by Quay Johnson. He had to step on his man on the post roll for that 2-point conversion, but couldn't come up with the grab.
Listen, we could argue that the previous 2 catches were more important than that one, right? So he made the catches at the right time. There's still a very rare drop from Quay Johnson. Very reliable hands. Great route, too. That play was open. I think they're going to go back to it later in this game.
So I'll tell you what, Matt Kerouac on Tuesday night at Loyola, as they had their semifinal victory over Gryffindor. Isaiah Lard of Gryffindor had the pick 6.
He always does. He always finds
off
a
the
way.
rush. So Matt Kerouac got to see that firsthand, taking a page out of Lard's book right there. Catch
Isaiah
there by
Lard
Chevalier.
has been moving up the divisions for a long time. He used to play with AllStars. AllStars went up to Division 1. He didn't want to play in Division 1. Now he's back in D1, and he keeps making these plays as a rusher to pick 6s. He did it to me a few times too. It's super frustrating. Now we saw Jonathan Mary go to JD Chevalier on the sidelines for, again, like 20 yards somehow.
Pretty much, that seems to be the only opening in this All-Stars defense is the sideline. Here's Pearson running around in the flats. Good tackle there by Quay Johnson. So it seems to be Garrett Pay and Chevalier on the left-hand side. There seems to be a bit of an opening for against the All-Stars.
All-Stars continue to take risks defensively. You had 2 guys wide open in the end zone on this play. They both went for crossers. They were both open. All-Stars are taking, again, they're not playing a safe, conservative defense. There's no point in this league because they're going to score. Their turnover was, from a rusher perspective, got a pick 6. It's not supposed to happen, right? So they have to jump things. They take risks, and it's a fun game to watch.
Samuel Hill gets the ball, passes to Chevalier, QB option yet again. Chevalier lets to run. Picks up the first down.
And a little bit more than the first, but that's exactly what you want from a play like this, right? You go with this look they usually give on converts from the 10-yard line, right? They're 10 yards away, so it's a perfect position for them. Jay Chevalier knew he had a lot of opportunities. You need to go for the end zone. You could run. You could pass it just for the first down. It was a very smart play by a veteran player.
So fresh set of downs now for the Braves offense. Down by 10, just outside of 13 minutes remaining before 5 plays. Chevalier waiting the snap. He gets it. Looks to his left. Pump face. Back to his left again. Caught. No! I believe that was Chevalier. Couldn't come down with the ball as he was falling out of bounds.
Ooh, he bubbled that ball. A very rare drop from Jay Chevalier. Braves are a bit of a tough position now. It's not only on the offense to just keep up and score and get converts, but now you actually need to get a stop defensively too. That pick 6 was really something else for All-Stars. It's exactly what they needed, but it's like a dagger for Braves at this point.
As mentioned before, the All-Stars getting to this finals matchup, coming after winning the semifinals 40-33 over Gryffindor. Mayhew gets a snap, looks and rolls to his left. He has a man. Touchdown! J.D. Chevalier makes up for the drop on the previous play by coming up with the touchdown, shrinking this lead for the All-Stars.
Great no-look pass by Jonathan Mary. He was looking deep back at the end zone, and then he just gunned it at his receiver's gut. That was a tough catch to make, a tough throw to make, but this is Div 1, right? You're supposed to make the tough throws.
So 36-32 lead now for the Braves. Braves going for 2 again. Mayhew back to Chevalier. Chevalier has time to throw. He has a man. Oh, Garrett Pay blowing coverage. Quay Johnson was stuck between a rock and a hard place. To be more specific, he was caught between Alex Pilon and George Garrett. He went with Pilon, leaving Garrett by himself. He got the 2-point conversion. It is now a 2-point game, 36-34 for the All-Stars.
Oh, that was such a good play design too. Jay Chevalier kind of made him look the other way, kind of made Quay take a decision and made him go inwards instead, and he had Josh wide open on the sideline. That was beautiful. I wish I could do that. Wish I could do that.
Makes 2 of us. So Wyeth brings the offense back onto the field now. Let's see if they can answer. Pass to the left sideline to Millardo. He breaks a tackle. Can he break another one? He falls down. Lost his...
There seemed to be collision there.
Garrett P.
No, that was Jonathan Maher, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Pardon me. You're right. It is
I'm not sure what the collision actually was at the end there. Chris Millard kind of cut back, but I feel like his hand might have slapped Jonathan Maher in the face or something.
Yeah, I think he hit him in the head because you saw the wave cap came off the head of Millard as he fell down to the turf. And Mayhew, as tough as they come, he is definitely hurt down on one knee right now.
He's slow to get up. He looks shook. That one did not feel good at all. It's a flag league. You're not supposed to be hit, right? There's not supposed to be any contact, but it is football. It is a fast-paced sport.
We're going to get the replay right here. So you see the one tackle miss there on the sideline by Millard. Millard cuts now. He plants his left leg. See, I believe it was the hand, but he fell down hard. Yeah, I believe it's the left hand of Maheu.
As he was cutting back, Mario was kind of going for the flags, and Chris was trying to get away from him. And I feel like he might have been just dragged a little bit down to the ground. Myra's back on his feet, which is a good thing to see, right? Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. So we're all happy to see him back on his feet. He looks a little shaken, but better. Hopefully we get to resume this game in a few minutes here.
Yeah, for the Braves again, only 6 guys in the lineup here.
You also can't lose your quarterback. Yes, you can't lose a player and play with 5, but you also can't lose your quarterback. It's such an important position.
Of course, we talked about earlier. Well-deserved round of applause for Joe Maheu. And we talked about before, obviously, the GOAT and Kevin Wyeth against who many people think is the apprentice, if you will, in Joe Maheu.
Like you said, he's as tough as it comes. He played tackle football for a very long time. He's been hit before. Yeah. But it's good to see that he's able to just get up, shake it off, and get back to playing. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, definitely. Just could have broken a finger or a thumb or dislocated. Yeah, between Wyeth and Maheu, 19 championships between them.
That's so many championships.
And 31 All-Star appearances. Slant to Johnson. He's deflagged at the 1. No, they're calling it a touchdown.
Ooh, they're calling it a touchdown. Well, Quake gets a touchdown.
So Jason Leclerc calls it a touchdown. So now the Braves are suddenly now to challenge, but again, I believe there are other challenges.
Both referees were on the pylon. Both referees on both sidelines were there. They both signaled the same thing. They both saw the same thing. I understand that Georges Garipi was not in the end zone when he tackled him, but his receiver might have been further than he was when he tackled him. With 2 guys in the right position, it's very tough for them to get the wrong call. They're right there. They couldn't have a better angle than that. That's one of the great things about the finals. Because we get 4 referees, there's always 1 or 2 guys in the perfect position to make these calls, and you get a much better game out of it.
So the touchdown stands 42-34 lead now for the All-Stars. So we're going for the 1-point conversion. Let's see if they can get it. YF has a man open. Johnson going to come up the grab. He was sandwiched in between Pierre Saint and Garrett P. Now, it's inside of 10 minutes of 5 plays.
There's still plenty of time. Braves are down 8, so you could actually tie this game with a convert, which is crazy considering what happened previously. But Kevin I feel like he's forcing the ball to Quaid a little bit too much. We haven't seen Paul Lapierre in the second half yet offensively. He might be shaken off on the sidelines. He did have a bad collision earlier. He fell down a little bit awkwardly. He hasn't come back into the game yet. Hopefully we get to see Paul Lapierre back in next drive offensively.
So 42-34 lead, as you mentioned, Simon. The Braves down by 8. Can they respond? Maheu gets a snap over the middle again to Pearson. Pearson makes a move, gets past the tackle attempt by Thompson. Almost got past the tackle attempt by Millard and Bond, but Bond's able to deflag the speedy center well into the All-Stars end of the field.
Keyshawn Thompson missing a tackle is not something you see often. He's been known to rise up in the playoffs and play amazing defensively. He's been the captain defensively for Montreal's Finest, All-Stars, DA Finest, whatever name they use. Whatever Kevin Wyatt team is on, Keyshawn is the captain of the defense. He usually makes those clutch plays too.
Thompson, a 12-time All-Star, 2011 inductee member of the FPF Hall of Fame, is a catch by Garrett P. on the sideline. He steps out of bounds after a pickup of about 8 yards.
So unlike the CFL, the NFL, you have guys who've been in the Hall of Fame for 11 years and they still play in the finals in Division 1. So not only are they still able to compete, but they're still able to compete at the highest level 11 years technically past their prime.
I mean, you're one of them right there. I mean, you're in the Hall of Fame yourself. I mean, you're still playing. Again, I said earlier in Division 3, I believe, with lightweight.
Yep. Although I am past my prime. I'll say it.
I was going to let you say it, not me. Second and about 3, maybe 4 for the Braves. Maheu has an opening. Dumps it off to Pearson. That pass bounces off the turf. That was going to be a tough catch there for Pearson.
That was what we call a broken play. Jonathan Mayer wanted to run. Chris Miller came crashing from the corner, so he took that run away from him. He was forced to throw. Mike Pearson was in a good spot, but that's a very tough throw to make when you're running towards the sideline, try to beat the rusher, try to beat the corner, and then you have to make a throw across your body like that. If you're able to gun that in somebody's gut properly, that's a phenomenal throw. So it's not unheard of to miss it. But listen, there was only second down. It's third down and short. Braves are still in a great position.
So third down now for the Braves. Mahir to his left. He has a man. Catch is made, but wasn't made and bounced by Garapi.
It was?
They're saying it was made out at the 1 yard line. Another sideline catch there by Garapi.
Showing a fourth today?
I believe so. Able to keep his toes in bounds, showing a little toe drag swag, as the kids like to say.
Jeez.
Big catch there for the Braves.
He catches that ball falling down with the feet inbounds. It's the kind of plays you see on TV. And like even on TV, people are amazed by it.
It's true.
You should call TV deals right now.
First and goal now for the Braves. Mahir looks to his left. Smartly throws it out of bounds.
Let's get Tivios ball in here. This is what we need to watch. We don't need curling. We need more FPF.
All the curling fans out there, you can send your hate mail right to Simon Dagenais.
You know where to find me. No shame in that.
Second down now for the Braves. Again, down by 8. 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes and counting now remaining here until 5 plays in the second half.
We could argue scoring from the 1 is harder than scoring from the 5 to 10. So Braves are, but I mean, this is Division 1. They'll score regardlessly. But
and he gets the snap, looks to his right. He has a man open in the back of the end zone. The Chevalier jumps up high and comes down with the catch. Touchdown, Braves.
All right, so now we see the convert. Now we see the 2-point convert to tie the game.
Yep.
This is, again, it's a game of converts, but this is super interesting. There's no reason to go for 1 here. It's pointless. You go for 2, you try to tie the game up, and then you put the ball back into Kevin's hands.
And they are going for 2, the Braves. Mayhew gets the ball back again to Chevalier. Throws a bullet to the corner, caught by Garapi. Did he get possession? Yeah, he does. 2-point conversion is good, and we are tied up at 42-42.
They did it before on the previous convert. They did it again. They're forcing a tough matchup with Quade Johnson defensively in the back of the end zone. He has to choose between 2 guys. And then he's trying to see where JD wants to go, but it's such a tough play defensively to make. And back-to-back, JD made the right decision going to Georges Garipi. Open in the back, and now we have a tie game at 42.
So Wyeth again with his offense on the field, looking to respond after they gave up their lead. Throws to the right sideline. He has Millard again. Millard with 1 move. Can't get past the tackle attempt. The tackle, rather, by number 11, J.D. Chevalier.
How is this game tied now? How do we get here? Like, we had Braves up by 2 scores with 3 plays left before half. Then we had AllStars up by 2 scores right into the second half, and somehow we're tied at 42. I don't understand.
That is the nature of Flag Plus football. The offense comes fast and furious, and momentum. This is a play away. And here, speaking of momentum, there we go. Jacques Voigt now having the momentum go back in his team's favor. His second touchdown of the evening. Wide open, made the catch by a diving George Garapi, and the All-Stars are back on top.
Jacques Voigt doesn't get a lot of balls thrown his way like this. He doesn't get targeted a lot. So he was kind of forgotten on the sidelines. Kevin Wyatt prefers to go to his slots and snapper. We all know this. And Georges was kind of cheating a little bit towards the inside. He got caught cheating. And then as he tried to make it back, he didn't make it on time, and Georges was wide open.
So conversion attempt for 1 for the All-Stars. Drums open. He catches it right down the middle, much to the disdain of Mike Pearson.
Now, because it was tied, All-Stars decided to go for 1. They're more comfortable going for 1. Kevin White's been going for 1 for a long time. He's not as comfortable going for 2. Now, Braves are trailing by 7, not just 6. But a 2-point convert could give them the lead. We all know they're not as easy to make, though. 2-point converts, or success rate is not that high. So we'll see what Braves decide to do after the next touchdown. Because I'm assuming we're going to get another touchdown.
So the 2-point convert is harder for teams to make, but I'll tell you what, during the regular season, the Braves have made 29 of them, compared to only 2 1-point conversions.
So that's almost 3 a game?
Yeah. Mahieu, he has a man deep. Good coverage there by Bond. Mahieu was attending for that ball to go to Alex Pilon. So well covered by Bond.
We saw it very early in the game where we had Chris Millard down the sideline, and he kind of like tried to bait the flag. Alex Pilon did the exact same thing. He ran into Matt Bond, fell down. He's like, listen, I'm not going to make a play on the ball, so if I get a flag here, though. So as a receiver, that's a smart thing to do. You try to bait it. If you get it, thumbs up. If you don't, nothing bad happens anyways. You're never going to get called for flopping regardlessly. So This ain't soccer.
You know what? Actually, you can. I'm not going to lie.
Really? In this
7 years
league?
ago, I got called for a flop.
No way.
I'll finish that story later. Mayhew gets the ball on second down now. Those another sideline catch. You know what? I'll tell you what, Simon, at this point, I think Georges Garipi should just set up an office right there on the sideline.
Set a tent or something.
Set up a tent, get a cot, a couple pillows.
Well, what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you're trying to cover the deep balls. You can't afford to just let them score quickly. There's 2 minutes left in this game. So now this is another interesting position to be in if you're Braves. Do you want to score quickly and then hope that AllStars gives you the ball back? Or you want to grind it down as much as possible and then dare to Kevin to score again with like 2-3 plays?
1st and 10 now for the Braves. Mayhew, he passes back to Pilon now. Pilon doing the quarterback option. He lets to run. He gets past he can't get past the tackle attempt by Pat Jerome. So Jerome deflects Pilon after a gain of, let's say, 7 yards. Setting him now 2nd and 3 for the Braves offense.
Not a bad play design. A smart play for you to get 7 yards, a safe 7 yards. And again, killing time. Time is really important right now for both teams. AllStars don't mind it so much because they still have 2 timeouts. And they know they're going to get at least 5 plays out of this. But Braves don't want to give them 9 or 10. Right? So, depending on how Braves played this, you have Kevin White on the sidelines thinking about timeouts, thinking about how he wants to use these, what he wants to do.
So 2nd and about 4 right now for the Braves offense. Mayhew gets the ball. He throws it to Pearson right over the middle. Pearson, he's deflagged by Jerome, but he's able to pick up enough yards for the 1st down. Now just under a minute before 5 plays. This, of course, is the 3rd meeting between both teams. They faced off twice in the regular season. The Braves winning by a blowout, 38-13 back in week 2. And then the AllStars avenging that loss in week 4 with a 31-30 victory over the Braves.
But these blowouts are always just based on personnel. Who shows up for these games? Like guys do miss games sometimes, right? So if the All-Star roster was completely different in a week 2 game, the Braves roster would have been different. We know Braves are missing 2 guys today, right? They're missing 2 of their big guys. Serge Pilon Jr. is not playing, which is probably one of the best players in FPF right now. Has been for the past 5 years. So you're missing one of the best player available in the game and for your team. So you're kind of making do. That could have been the same thing for these games in the regular season. Maybe you're missing guys, maybe it's not. So I'm not too worried about the previous games, but what we're seeing today is just an offensive. Yeah, it's 2 offensive juggernauts going at it.
That's it. It's a shootout.
This is exactly the kind of final we want to have. This is an amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I mean, you have the top 2 offenses in Division 1 facing. The first offense in the Braves against the 3rd offense in the All-Stars.
I said it previously. We have to get TVS ball in here.
Yeah.
That's simple.
There we go. Kerouac goes offside. He resets himself. Throw to the end zone. Oh, nice defensive play. Quade Johnson coming up big, knocking down that pass intended for Georges Garipi.
He gave it up twice, but he's not going to give it up 3 times. Quade made a great play. He saw exactly what was going to happen. He knew there was an in and out route in the back of the end zone. He didn't bite on the end and was right there for the cone play.
So just outside of 20 seconds now remaining before 5 plays. A 7-point lead, 49-42 for the All-Stars. The All-Stars, of course, looking to make the defensive stand here and win the championship. Mayhew gets the ball now. Looks to his right, looking to throw across his body, but he ends up going to the flats. I believe the Chevalier with the catch.
So he pump faked because he wanted something else. Then JD came around. He hit the drag right underneath just before 5 plays. So now we have 5 plays left in this game. This is now 3rd down, 5 plays left in the game. So if you're Braves, 3rd down, 5 plays. If you're Braves, you just need to score at this point. Yeah, but exactly, you can't just start playing, we have to kill plays. We can't let Kevin have too much time. You just need to score. If you don't score, you lose the game instantly.
But that's it. So priority one is getting the ball in the end zone. So now, Simon, if you're Jonathan Mayhew, what are you calling in the huddle right here?
You have to go probably one of the best players. I think the right side hasn't been tested much in this game, but he's probably going to go back to JD or Josh.
So Mayhew gets the ball. He looks to his left. Can he get the ball off? He does. No, they're calling it a sack, and Kerouac got hit in the face. And a penalty is down.
Another very mentally tough player is Matt Kerouac. He usually, I've seen him get it a lot. Always gets back up. Always finds a way. That one looks to hurt. Like it could have been like a elbow to the face. If the guy's throwing, you're jumping in front of him, you could get slapped like by a elbow straight in the nose or chin. It could hurt a lot.
So the penalty So Matt Kerouac looks like he's going to be okay. We saw in the replay, so yeah, I believe the arm or the wrist of Mahir made contact with the face of Kerouac.
Like he's not caught, like he's not hurt.
Another replay right there. So Kerouac jumps.
But now they're calling it on the rusher. The penalty is on Matt Kerouac for interfering with the QB's arm. So even if you're getting hit in the face, you're still at fault. It's crazy.
And you know what? He's getting the penalty right there. I'll tell you why, Simon. As you see, Mahir went back to pass, and he winds up. Kerouac jumps up into the air. So the fact that he jumped up into the air.
So the rule is you're allowed to stop the ball once it's released.
Yeah.
But if you hit the QB's arm or body or whatever, then you're at fault as a rusher. You have to be in control of your body. Even if you jump in front of the ball, you have to be in control of your body. So you cannot stop his forward motion. The only thing you could do is if the ball is released and then like the QB hits you much later after the release. But even then, it's a tough call to make. So they're looking at the replay here to see if they have the right call on the field. Our head replay referee, Walter Berry, is looking at it on the replay booth to try to see whether he was hit after the play, before the play. Was it a penalty on the rusher? Was it a penalty on the quarterback? To me, it looks like Matt Kerouac was jumping in front of Jonathan Mahir as he was pump faking. Yeah. And then when he came down,
he made contact
as he was coming down as the rusher. So it's on the rusher to be in control of his own body. If you want to jump, it's fine, but you can't fall onto a quarterback. So, and it's not like Jonathan Mahir stepped in front of him or something. He was throwing sideways, and Kerouac kind of came down and got clipped at the same time. So, in my opinion, sadly, this is a penalty on the rusher.
So, obviously, they're going to confirm with the replay. So, if the penalty stays as called, it's going to be a redo of the play. So, it's going to be 5 plays still.
So, Braves get an extra play.
Yeah.
They gain yards, and it's a first down. So, it's no longer third with 5 plays left. It's going to be 5 plays left still, but a first down, which opens up so many possibilities. Because in this case, you could actually kill your first down to take away a play from Kevin White getting the ball back.
So now, okay, so I'm going to ask you, if you're the Braves, do you do that? Do you play clock? Okay, I was going to ask you, do you want to play clock management, or you just want to make sure you get the ball into the end zone?
Because at this point, even though the Braves have scored 7 times, or 6 times with Converse actually, they scored 6 times so far. The big problem here is if I'm the Braves, I don't feel 100% confident I'm scoring on this drive. If you give me 2 plays, to me it's a 50-50 call. If you give me 4 plays, Braves are scoring.
Exactly.
So I would not disregard or discard one of the plays just to take one away from Kevin. I actually don't think that there's a difference between having 4 plays or 3 plays at this point for AllStars.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, first starting with the AllStars, what do you do right now defensively, if you're the AllStars?
The Braves have been taking a lot of shots to the left side. So he's favoring his left rather than his right. So you put your best DB on the left side to begin with. But also, they're favoring passes to the sideline, back in the end zone, front of the end zone. He's not throwing a lot to the middle of the field. Even to the center left, there's not a lot of passes there. But I would actually be, if I'm Jonathan Mahir, I would actually consider throwing to Mike Piercin in the middle of the field where they don't expect it to go.
So here we go. So now the penalty stats is going to be first and goal now for the Braves. Let's see if they can get the ball into the end zone. Mahir gets the ball.
They actually discarded it?
Yeah.
They actually did it. They wanted to kill a play. Interesting. I don't think it's a bad decision. I just think it's a bold decision. But on the flip side, if you score here and give Kevin Wyatt 4 plays with this all-star offense, they are most likely scoring. Now, it's not just a matter of scoring because you need to get the convert too. But if you're Braves here and you score, do you go for 1 or you go for 2? There is overtime in the playoffs, right?
Exactly. And I was going to ask you, there is overtime in the playoffs, especially right here in the finals. So if you're the Braves right here, would you go for 2? Considering obviously you have to get the touchdown first, but would you go for 2 or would you try to go for 1 and play for overtime?
If I'm myself, I'm going for 1 because I'm not comfortable going for 2, but Braves are.
So here gets a snap now. Batted down by Jerome, intended for Alex Pilon.
So another play here. They still got time, but it's very interesting to see what AllStars are doing defensively. They're playing man-to-man coverage, playing really tight. They're not giving a lot of free windows. You see Alex Pilon coming back to the huddle a little bit.
Yeah, walking, definitely hopping rather back to the huddle.
Yeah, it looks like he might have hurt his ankle a little bit. Again, they're only playing with 6, right? So if somebody gets hurt, he kind of still needs to play.
And that's obviously you watching at home. Keep that in your memory banks. If the Braves can get the ball into the end zone, depends on what happens obviously with the conversion after. But if the Braves have to make a stop defensively, how big will that seemingly injury right now that Pilon has, how much will that affect his ability to cover on defense?
He's not walking.
He's limping to the line of scrimmage right now.
That's the word I was looking for. He is limping. We'll see what happens here.
Here gets the snap. He looks to his left. He has Pearson. Oh, and a rare drop by May Pearson. He had a step, maybe two, on Thompson, but cannot come up with the grab. Setting up now or do or die 4th down for the Braves.
That was a perfect play call, perfect read, and perfect throw. May Pearson drop. He doesn't drop those balls usually. That would have been touchdown number 4, actually. Like you said, very rare drop from the guy on his team that probably has some of the best hands. What do you do here if you're Braves? It's 4th down, game on the line.
I got to ask you, you're the quarterback. What are you calling right here?
I would probably go back to something similar we just did. Probably mirror it, go to the right instead of the left. But I feel like the matchup Mike Pearson is the good one now.
So here we go. Trips left now by the Braves. Pema is the only receiver on the right. Mahir gets a snap. He has a man. Pilo, touchdown!
Ooh, great play design here. They went to front of the cone instead of back of the cone. They went for trips to confuse the AllStars defense. They didn't do this play yet. It's a brand new look, brand new play. You call that a 4th down. It's bold, but that's how you win games. It's not by playing it safe.
So now it is a 49-48 lead, a 1-point lead for the AllStars. Now will the Braves go for 1 or will they go for 2?
Personally, if I'm the Braves, considering how this game has played so far, I would go for 2 because that's their comfort zone. They are the best team in FPF at going for 2. So if they're able to go for 2, then the entire pressure is on AllStars. It's confirmed. Braves are going for 2. They're going for the win. They're not playing for overtime. They're not playing for extra plays. I think they're a little bit banged up too. They don't want to stretch this a little bit further. Kevin White will have 2 plays if needed.
So a big do-or-die play here for both teams. If the AllStars hold, they're your Division I champions. If the Braves can score for 2, they are your Division I champions.
No, that's not true. There's 2 plays left.
Up on the well, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. So we'll see what happens.
So
I think if they get the 2-point conversion
successful
here,
cover here, we get a great finish up ahead. Right?
Kind of the carriage
AllStars
for
with
the
2
horse.
plays.
So the Braves here. Oh, a timeout called on the play now.
He didn't like what he saw, probably. There's something with the matchup, something with the way it's lined up.
That's why you save your timeouts. Pardon me, I got a little ahead of myself. But you would have to think. I mean, it is Kevin Wyeth. Let's say they get the 2-point conversion here.
But it is 2 plays.
It is 2 plays. But, I mean, listen, the Braves have been the creme de la creme of FPF for the last couple of seasons. They've been the top team, I guess you could say. You have to think they can make a stop.
It is 2 plays. Like, you're so limited when you only have 2 plays defensively. If you take a shot first, then you're throwing a Hail Mary from 40 yards on second down. You don't want that. So you basically want to chuck it in half at least to give your time, give your receivers time to get to the end zone. But the problem with that is Braves is expecting that. So everybody is lining up 12 yards deep already, and they're waiting for receivers. It's such a tough position to be in. You have such a good rusher in Jeanette Pema. 2 plays is not enough, man.
So here we go.
For all the marbles.
Yeah, 1-point lead still for the AllStars. 49-48. The Braves get the ball. Chevalier goes back to get the pass. He throws it. Oh, and a one-hopper off the turf. He had Pilo open.
It's stuck to his glove right there. You could see it. JD Chevalier is pissed with himself. The play was there. The guy was open. It was a flawless call, but the ball stuck to his glove as he was throwing it, and it got carried a little bit too much to the left instead of being released with a higher pitch point, and that's what you get. Sadly, the trick play did not work, but they were going again back at the end zone sideline. It was just a frustrating play for Braves. That's a tough way to lose, but what a phenomenal game.
Yeah, phenomenal game indeed. Alex Pilon was open to catch that 2-point conversion. Would have given the Braves a 1-point lead, but it's all for naught again. The pass by J.D. Chevalier falling incomplete, and the AllStars are your Division I champions with the 49-48 win over the Braves and a thriller here at the Bell Sports Complex.
What a crazy game. To have a 2-score lead in the first half by Braves, just to slowly lose it before halftime, give a 2-score lead to AllStars, and come back to this on the final play of the game for a convert on to score on the 4th down to go down by only 1 point. This is exactly what we would hope for in a finals game for a Division I game. It was a phenomenal game. I was happy to be in the booth with you, Brent.
I was happy to be in the booth with you too, Simon. I mean, what are your thoughts? Obviously, again, a fantastic game. Starting with the Braves, it has to be a heartbreaker for them.
It is. It hurts. But you still, I mean, you made it here. It was super competitive. You go home, you're frustrated because you lost. But you're not happy with yourself because you're happy with the way it played out. You played great. You go home kind of like it's a bittersweet feeling.
Yeah, That's it. That's it.
We're going to the field to Robert Campana.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the field to get the MVP.
All right, guys, thank you.
Order, who are you calling right now?
All right, guys, what a heck of
It has to
a
be
Division I final. We can't ask for more than that. Everybody in the crowd was on their toes there, including myself. So what can I say? There's not much more to say than other than presenting the Winter 2022 Division I Championship Trophy to Captain Kevin Wyatt.
Wait, look at that Montreal's finest.
All right, one last trophy. One last to present here. The finals MVP, Matthew Kirouac. What a play there! Pick sixing that touchdown. The guys want me to ask a couple questions. Kev, you want to come in just to answer a couple quick questions for the guys here. So how does it feel after here? We'll turn around so the guys can. Actually, James is. Yeah. After a few years, people are saying maybe Kevin has lost a step, lost a couple of miles per hour off his fastball. How does it feel to win this Division I game against the Braves,
awesome.
no less?
Great game. Can shout out to the Braves. Played a great game. This was all for Quaid. He hasn't had a championship. The only one on our team. We got it for him. That's it. We're good.
Great job, guys. Congratulations. All right, back to you guys.
All right, so there you have it. Obviously, a well-deserving MVP for Matt Kirouac, picking up an INT for a touchdown. I believe it was 4 sacks.
A phenomenal game, really. Something we don't see a lot of stops defensively in Division I, right? Rushers usually don't have that big of an impact. We see rushers finish season with 10, 11 sacks maybe. So he had 4 today, which is a huge tally. He made a lot of plays defensively for his team. He got the pick 6 that really swung the momentum in their favor. Got up 2 scores in the second half. It was probably the most game-changing play of the game. So it's one of those final MVPs that goes because you were here rather than the score sheet.
So obviously talked about the pick 6 then by Kirouac. But going to another play, how big was that Hail Mary catch at the end of the first half there by Pat Jerome? Obviously, we talked about that 12-point swing in a matter of 3 plays. They really got the All-Stars back in this game.
Both of them. The catch from Quaid Johnson on the back pylon right before. And then they had the Pat Jerome at the INT. They started bringing it back before it was called for a holding on that next, and then he made the catch. So we could argue that Pat Jerome also had a huge impact on this game. But the way it was played in the first half, yes, Pat Jerome had a fantastic play, but to me, it's something that Matt Kirouac had such a big impact from a position that usually doesn't get that big of an impact in Division I that it needs to be rewarded for how big of a play that was.
It definitely. So obviously coming up next, we have Blessed against the Junkyard Dogs in Division 3 action, for that championship. And then we're going to close out championship weekend with the Division 2 championship matchup between KGP and the Tourist Squad. Simon, final thoughts on this contest?
This is a phenomenal game that we'll probably talk about for the next 5-6 years. It was a great game all out. We saw everything that we wanted to see in the finals. I was happy to be here with you. It was a great game to call. It was a lot of good times.
And so for the All-Stars, this championship actually is their first under the name the All-Stars. Don't forget, of course, they were the finest and Montreal's finest before that. For the All-Stars, it's their first championship since the winter 2018 season. So a bit of a pause there in championship glory for the All-Stars, but definitely well-deserved tonight with a huge win over the Braves. For Simon Dagenais, I'm Brent Bodkin saying thank you for tuning in to the Division I championship game between the All-Stars and the Braves. The All-Stars being victorious with the 49-48 victory over the Braves. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.